as we have been detailing, APEC has been a very busy event for the thousands of political and business leaders who gathered in San Francisco. But for many local businesses, it didn't quite have the desired impact. Dan Williams joins us again and has this report.
A group of tourists visit San Francisco's historic Golden Gate fortune cookie factory. This company has been making custom fortune cookies since 1962, but trade here and across San Francisco's Chinatown is well below expectations, and that's mainly due to the APEC leaders meeting. With road and subway closures, businesses in Chinatown have struggled.
You know, I'm hearing figures around 30%, maybe even 40%.
Malcolm Young is the executive director of San Francisco's Chinatown Community Development Center.
I think the reality is that the closures have been very impactful. I don't think there's any way to get around that. And because of the security, because of the street closures, the streets are a lot emptier than they have been before APEC came in.
Amanda Yan is the owner of Hon's One-Ton House. Normally, people queue down the street to get a table to taste some of its handmade wonton.
Since APEC come in, so our business is slowed down, and then actually normal. So we have there's no night to waiting, and right now so there's no waiting line. So because of the street closure, and then people cannot into the Chinatown to buy and then to drink, to eat, and yeah. So, but it's big challenging for this week.
Although it would appear that APEC has negatively impacted many businesses here in Chinatown, many business owners here are hopeful for the future, that the publicity around APEC will entice future visitors.
I think that right now we're definitely experiencing some short-term pain. But overall, I think we're really optimistic and hopeful that APEC will create long-term gain for not just this community, but the entire city. I think the optimism is that APEC could potentially be a relaunch, not only of San Francisco, but of San Francisco Chinatown to the Asian Pacific Rim.
That's certainly the wish at One-Ton House.
For the future, I hope APEC bring more tourists to the city to make economy is better.
Adding to the hopeful outlook for businesses here is the recent resumption of direct flights between San Francisco and China, with the city's Chinatown a key tourist destination for many Chinese tourists. A change of fortune perhaps for businesses here, and possibly a prediction of a brighter future. Dan Williams, CGTN, San Francisco.
Okay, joining us now for more on what business and tourism looks like on the ground in San Francisco is Laurie Thomas. She is the executive director of the Golden Gate Restaurant Association and CEO of Nice Ventures. Welcome to our program. Thanks very much.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Let me get your thoughts on, I hope you had a chance to hear Dan's story there, but it did talk about, look, it's a double-edged sword when so many people come to town, but you have leaders of China, leader of the United States, you're going to have tight security. And those areas that did come into play, unfortunately, were, I guess, sealed off to quite a degree. How do you think local tourism, local business was during this past week? Was it what you expected?
Well, I think as you have been hearing and seeing, we've been hearing and seeing the same thing, that anybody that was co-located next to the security perimeters or in the security perimeters or in the downtown core saw a much slower week than normal, because a lot of people just avoided San Francisco in general. Office workers, folks didn't come in to visit or shop or anything. So we really saw those businesses start to suffer. But we want to talk about some of the positive stuff that we promoted this week outside of those areas. But yes, it was pretty tough for those businesses.
You know, let's talk about some of the positives, because it has been a tough run for San Francisco. I think anybody who reads the national news knows about the crime, homelessness down in the area, those kind of concerns, and also read that one crew, international crew, got held up at gunpoint for their gear, I think the first or second day. How do you put in place all the positives that you have done when you keep having to battle that?
Well, we're an urban city, and I do want to say that we've really made strides. I mean, we're not where we want to be yet, but the combination of the new DA and the focus on trying to really address these things has been better. I can speak from our members and our board that we've been seeing some improvements, but we have a ways to go. So we really do need to keep focusing on moving forward and the exciting things that are happening. And we need tourism and we need convention business to do that, to feed our restaurants and their workers and have everybody have the chance to continue our amazing, hospitality culture. And we did that with SF Restaurant Week, where we extended our program that we normally run in the fall, the GGRA runs,
Right.
for 2 weeks, and we're super hopeful that that's driving business to areas outside of those core areas we talked about. And I can tell you anecdotally, we haven't seen the cover counts from Open Table yet, one of our sponsors, but that we're seeing folks that have business up, as high as 20% up last weekend from same weekend last year. 10 to 15% is very common, and so we're very hopeful that that is going to be super helpful. I can speak to that personally. I have 2 restaurants out in the Cow Hollow neighborhood.
Oh, wow.
We
Okay.
saw sales up 15 to 20% last weekend.
And Laurie, if I can also ask you, look, San Francisco isn't the first urban city in the United States to go through something like this. New York in the 80s was just horrific. And
Yeah.
New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina, no one wanted to go there. And
Yeah.
you guys have the NBA All-Star Weekend coming up. That was
Yeah.
a huge turnaround in New Orleans once all that convention and all that coverage came in. Can it do the same for San Francisco when you guys host the NBA weekend?
I think that hopefully will be, really great and draw it in. That's a ways away yet, right? That's February 2025. But we're looking forward to more events like that. The city really shines with events like that. It's capable of handling that. And again, I'm very confident that our focus now, and I know that it's a lot of people's focus, is on continuing to address these things and make the city better. It's a core concern of residents and businesses, and I know that there are resources in that direction.
Right.
And I know that our hospitality industry works as a team. We work closely with the hotel council, SF Travel, the restaurants, just trying to do everything we can to make people have a great experience. And most of them do have a great experience based on our surveys and feedback from folks once they come here and experience the city.
One of the big takeaways, obviously, is President Xi again imploring more people-to-people interaction between China and the United States. And I have to believe that China has always been a very popular vacation, or San Francisco, for people from China. What are the top international markets for San Francisco? How do you encourage more, and do you hope that people listen to what played out this week and say, you know what, we're going to give it a shot?
Well, I think you mentioned it earlier in the story. I think it's super encouraging to have all these flights coming back online, right? We need to see our Asian tourists come back, and those were not there, and so that's super exciting. I think Europe has been a super strong player, and travelers coming back, India as well, South America as well. But we really, really need the Asian travel to come back again. We know those are the largest spenders in the past, and we're hopeful that these flights back online can really help drive that, and also visas, being shorter to get, can help that as well.